The HOA president went to my daughter's school and lied to the teachers. She took my 5-year-old Emma away. Diane locked my baby in a house and said we must leave the neighborhood or else. But her husband heard everything on home recordings. He gave police the proof and divorced her in court. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The phone call came at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was in the middle of a work meeting when my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Normally I would ignore it. But something in my gut told me to answer. Mr. Rodriguez? This is Principal Carter from Riverside Elementary. We have a situation with your daughter Emma. My heart stopped. What kind of situation? Is she hurt? No, she's not hurt. But she's missing. A woman came to pick her up an hour ago, claiming to be her aunt. She had a note that looked like it was from you, giving permission. Our office staff let Emma go with her. The room spun. I gripped the edge of the conference table. I don't have a sister. My wife doesn't have a sister. Who took my daughter? We're reviewing the security footage now. The woman signed in as Linda Rodriguez. She was well-dressed, professional. She seemed to know Emma, called her by name, knew details about her. Mr. Rodriguez, we've already called the police. They're on their way. I was already running to my car. What did this woman look like? Blonde hair, about 50 years old, expensive clothes. She drove a white Mercedes. I knew exactly who had taken my daughter. Diane Patterson. Our HOA president. The woman who had been making our lives hell for 6 months. It started the day we moved into Riverside Heights. We were the first Hispanic family in the neighborhood. Me, my wife Sophia, and our 5-year-old daughter Emma. Diane Patterson appeared on our doorstep within hours, clipboard in hand, fake smile plastered on her face. Welcome to the neighborhood, she said, though her eyes were cold. I'm Diane Patterson, HOA president. I wanted to personally deliver your welcome packet and go over some important rules. The welcome packet was 40 pages of regulations. No decorations without approval. No cars in driveways overnight. No children's toys visible from the street. Grass must be exactly 2 inches tall. No holiday decorations except approved American flags. This seems excessive, Sophia said politely. Diane's smile tightened. We maintain very high standards here. I'm sure you'll adjust quickly. But we couldn't adjust. Not to Diane's standards. Our first violation notice came because Emma's pink bicycle was on our front porch. Unapproved items visible from street, $100 fine. The second was for our car, a 10-year-old Honda, being too old and unsightly for the neighborhood standards. The third was for Sophia's small herb garden. Unapproved landscaping modifications. The violations came weekly, then daily. Each with a fine. Each with Diane's signature. We tried to comply. We moved the bicycle. We parked our car in the garage. We removed the herbs. But Diane always found something new. She complained that Emma's laughter was too loud when she played in our backyard. She said our mailbox was the wrong shade of black. She measured our grass with a ruler and fined us when it was 2¼ inches instead of 2 inches exactly. The final straw came 2 weeks ago. Emma had drawn pictures with sidewalk chalk on our driveway, flowers and rainbows and stick figures of our family. She was so proud of her artwork. Diane knocked on our door at 7 a.m. the next morning. Your child has vandalized HOA property, she announced. It's our driveway, Sophia said, confused. And it's chalk. It washes away. The HOA owns everything visible from the street. That includes your driveway. I'm fining you $500 for property damage and requiring professional cleaning. For chalk. I stepped forward. This is insane. She's 5 years old. Diane's eyes narrowed. Perhaps if you taught your child to respect community standards, we wouldn't have these problems. But I suppose that's expecting too much from people like you. People like us? Sophia's voice was dangerously quiet. People who don't understand how to maintain a respectable neighborhood. Diane smiled her fake smile. I've lived here for 20 years. I've worked hard to keep this community pristine. I won't let anyone lower our standards. She left us with a $500 fine and a warning that future violations would result in foreclosure proceedings. That night, Sophia cried while Emma slept. She hates us, Sophia whispered. She wants us gone. We're not going anywhere, I promised. This is our home. We have rights. But I didn't know how far Diane would go to get rid of us. I didn't know she would take my daughter. I reached Emma's school in 8 minutes, breaking every speed limit. Police cars filled the parking lot. Principal Carter met me at the door, her face pale. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm so sorry. We're reviewing everything. Show me the footage. Now. In the security office, I watched the video of a woman I recognized immediately walking into the school office. Diane Patterson, wearing a professional blazer, carrying a leather purse, smiling warmly at the receptionist. The audio was clear. "Hi, I'm Linda Rodriguez, Emma's aunt. Her father asked me to pick her up early for a doctor's appointment. He sent a note." She handed over a folded paper. The receptionist barely glanced at it. "Oh, of course. Let me call her classroom." Minutes later, Emma appeared. My beautiful little girl with her dark curls and bright smile. She looked confused when she saw Diane. "Hi, Emma." Diane's voice was cheerful, fake. "Your daddy asked me to pick you up. We're going to get ice cream." Emma hesitated. "I don't know you." "Of course you do, sweetie. I'm Mrs. Patterson from your neighborhood. Your daddy said it's okay. He sent this note." Diane showed Emma the paper. Emma couldn't read well enough to know it was fake. And Diane did live in our neighborhood. Emma had seen her before. "Can I call my daddy first?" "Oh, honey, he's in an important meeting. That's why he sent me. Come on, let's go get that ice cream." Diane took Emma's hand. And my daughter, trusting and innocent, went with her. I watched them walk out of the school. Watched Diane lead my little girl to her white Mercedes. Watched Emma get into the car. The timestamp said 1:35 p.m. It was now 3:15 p.m. My daughter had been missing for an hour and 40 minutes. Where is she? I grabbed the police officer next to me. Where did she take my daughter? We've put out an Amber Alert, Mr. Rodriguez. We have her license plate. We'll find her. You don't understand. This woman hates us. She's been harassing us for months. I don't know what she'll do to Emma. Detective Sarah Chin stepped forward. She was young, sharp-eyed, and she'd been taking notes the entire time. "Mr. Rodriguez, tell me everything about Diane Patterson. Everything she's done. Every threat. Every violation notice. I need the full picture." So I told her. About the harassment. The fonts. The racist comments. The escalating obsession with driving us out of the neighborhood. She said people like us don't belong there, I explained. She's been trying to force us out since day one. But we wouldn't leave. So she took Emma. Why would she take your daughter? To punish us. To scare us. To prove she has power over us. Detective Chen's expression was grim. "We need to find your daughter fast. Do you have any idea where Patterson might take her?" I thought frantically. "Her house. It's 10 minutes from here. We'll send units there immediately." My phone rang. Sophia. I texted her from the car but hadn't been able to explain. "Miguel, what's happening? Why did the school call me? Where's Emma?" My voice broke. "Someone took her, Sophia. Diane Patterson pretended to be your sister and took Emma from school." Sophia's scream echoed through the phone. "What? No. No, no, no. Where is she? Where's our baby? The police are looking. I'm at the school. I'm going to find her, Sophia. I promise I'm going to find her. I'm coming there now. Don't hang up. Stay on the phone with me." So I stayed on the phone while police mobilized, while the Amber Alert went out, while every second felt like an hour and my little girl was somewhere with a woman who hated us. Police went to Diane's house. She wasn't there. Her husband Mark Patterson answered the door, confused and worried. "Diane left around noon," he told officers. "She said she had HOA business." "What's this about?" When they explained, Mark's face went white. "She took someone's child?" "No. No, Diane wouldn't do that. There must be a mistake. Mr. Patterson, your wife signed into Riverside Elementary as Linda Rodriguez and removed a 5-year-old girl without parental permission. That's kidnapping." Mark sat down heavily on his front steps. "I don't understand. Why would she do that?" Detective Chin showed him the security footage. Mark watched his wife lie, watched her take Emma, watched her drive away with someone else's child. "Oh God," he whispered. "What has she done? Do you have any idea where she might go? A cabin? A friend's house? Anywhere she feels safe?" Mark thought for a moment. "Her sister's lake house. About an hour north. Diane goes there when she's stressed. She has a key." Detective Chin was already calling it in. "Give me the address. Now." While police raced toward the lake house, Mark called Diane's phone. No answer. He left a voicemail. "Diane, I don't know what you're thinking, but you need to bring that little girl back right now. You've kidnapped someone's child. The police are looking for you. Please, just bring her back and we can fix this." We waited. Every minute was torture. Sophia arrived at the school, her face streaked with tears. I held her while she sobbed. "Our baby. That woman has our baby. They're going to find her, I promised, though fear was eating me alive. They know where Diane is. They're going to get Emma back. What if she hurts her? What if? Don't think like that. Emma is smart. She's brave. She's going to be okay. But I didn't know if I believed it. At 4:45 p.m., Detective Chen's radio crackled. We've located the vehicle. Lake House. We have visual on the suspect and the child through the windows. My legs nearly gave out with relief. Is Emma okay? Sophia grabbed the detective's arm. Is our daughter okay? They're confirming now. Stand by. The longest 2 minutes of my life passed. Then, child appears unharmed. Moving in to apprehend suspect. Sophia collapsed against me, sobbing. She's alive. Our baby is alive. They brought Emma back to us at 6:30 p.m. 4 hours after she was taken. She ran into Sophia's arms, crying, "Mommy, I want to go home." I wrapped both of them in my arms, tears streaming down my face. My little girl. Safe. Home. We're here, baby. We're here. You're safe now. Emma was sobbing. That lady said we were going for ice cream, but she brought me to a scary house. She locked the doors. She wouldn't let me call you. I was so scared, Daddy. I know, sweetheart. I know. But you're safe now. We've got you. Detective Chin approached gently. Emma, you were very brave. Can you tell me what happened after you left school? Emma wiped her eyes. The lady said Daddy sent her to get me. But when we got in the car, she didn't go to the ice cream store. She drove really far. I asked to call you, but she said no. She said you were busy. What happened at the house? She made me sit on a couch. She was talking on the phone, saying mean things about my daddy and mommy. She said we didn't belong in her neighborhood. She said she was going to teach us a lesson. Emma's voice dropped to a whisper. I was really scared. I thought I'd never see you again. Sophia held Emma tighter, fresh tears flowing. She kept saying I should tell you to move away, Emma continued. She said if we left the neighborhood she would take me home. But if we didn't leave, something bad would happen. I didn't understand. I just wanted my mommy and daddy. Rage like I'd never known burned through me. This woman had terrorized my 5-year-old daughter. Had kidnapped her. Had threatened her. Had used her as a weapon against us. Where is Diane now? I asked Detective Chin. In custody. She's being charged with kidnapping, child endangerment, and making terroristic threats. Good. I want to press every charge possible. We will. This is a very serious crime, Mr. Rodriguez. She's going to prison. But before any of that happened, I needed to take my daughter home. I needed to hold my family and remember that we were all still together. We didn't leave the hospital until Emma was fully checked out. No injuries. No physical harm. But the fear in her eyes broke my heart. I don't want to go back to that neighborhood, Emma said quietly in the car. I don't want to see that lady again. You won't have to see her, I promised. She's going to jail. She can't hurt you anymore. But what if she comes back? She won't. I promise you, baby. She will never come near you again. We learned the full story over the next few days. Diane had planned the kidnapping for weeks. She'd forged the permission note, studied the school's pickup procedures, chosen a time when she knew I would be in meetings and Sophia would be at work. Her goal was simple: terrorize us so completely that we'd leave the neighborhood. She told Mark she had HOA meetings that day. He'd had no idea what she was planning. When police found her at the lake house, she was on the phone with a real estate agent, asking about properties for sale in our neighborhood. She'd planned to pressure us to sell, then buy our house herself to ensure the right kind of people moved in. The evidence against her was overwhelming. Security footage, phone records, Emma's testimony, Diane's own statements to police before she lawyered up. But the most damning evidence came from an unexpected source. Mark Patterson. 3 days after Emma's kidnapping, Mark Patterson showed up at our door. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. His eyes were red. His hands shook. Mr. Rodriguez, Mrs. Rodriguez. I know I'm probably the last person you want to see. But I need to talk to you. Sophia stepped in front of me protectively. Your wife kidnapped our daughter. I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so deeply sorry. Mark's voice cracked. I didn't know she was capable of this. I thought the HOA stuff was just her being particular, maybe a little controlling. I didn't know it had gone this far. What do you want? I asked coldly. To help. To make this right if I can. He pulled out a folder. These are recordings. From our home security system. Diane didn't know I'd upgraded it last month. It records audio throughout the house. He handed me the folder with trembling hands. There are conversations in there. Weeks of them. Diane talking about you, planning ways to get rid of you. Racist comments. Plans to forge violations. And worst of all, her talking about taking Emma. She said it 3 days before she did it. She said if you wouldn't leave voluntarily, she'd give you a reason you couldn't ignore. My blood ran cold. She planned this for days? At least, maybe longer. I should have seen it. I should have stopped her. But I was at work, and when I was home, He broke down. I just didn't want to see who she'd become. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sophia took the folder from him. Why are you doing this? This will destroy her case. She might spend decades in prison instead of years. Mark looked at her with hollow eyes. Because what she did was evil. Because that little girl deserves justice. Because I've been complicit in Diane's cruelty for too long, and I can't live with myself if I don't try to make it right. He handed us another envelope. These are divorce papers. I filed them this morning. I also contacted every family in the HOA that Diane has harassed. I'm helping them file complaints and lawsuits. The HOA is being dissolved. I'm making sure Diane can never do this to anyone else. I didn't know what to say. This man was destroying his own wife, ending his marriage, upending his life. Mr. Patterson, Sophia said quietly, thank you. This doesn't fix what happened. But it helps. Mark nodded. I also set up a fund for Emma. For therapy, for anything she needs. It's $50,000 to start. I know money doesn't heal trauma, but I want to help however I can. After he left, Sophia and I listened to the recordings. They were horrifying. Diane's voice, cold and calculating. The Rodriguez family is a cancer in this neighborhood. They're bringing down property values just by existing. If I can't force them out through violations, I'll have to find another way. Another recording. I've been watching the school. They're careless with pickup procedures. If I pretend to be a relative, I could probably walk right out with their daughter. One day with me and they'll run out of that house so fast. And the worst one from 2 days before the kidnapping, Mark thinks I'm overreacting. But he doesn't understand. We've worked for 20 years to build this neighborhood into something prestigious. I won't let some immigrants with their loud music and their Mexican food smells destroy everything we've built. If taking the child is what it takes to send a message, so be it. Sophia was crying by the time the recordings ended. She really hates us, just for existing. She's sick, I said. Sick and evil. But she's going to pay for what she did. The trial began 4 months later. We'd spent that time in therapy, all 3 of us. Emma had nightmares about being taken. Sophia couldn't let Emma out of her sight. I jumped every time the doorbell rang. But we were healing. Slowly. The day of the trial, we dressed Emma in her favorite purple dress. She held both our hands as we walked into the courthouse. Diane sat at the defense table looking small and defeated. Her expensive lawyer tried to make her look sympathetic, but nothing could hide the cold calculation in her eyes when she looked at us. The prosecutor, a fierce woman named Jennifer Walsh, made the case devastatingly clear. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is simple. Diane Patterson kidnapped a 5-year-old child. Not in a moment of passion. Not by accident. But in a premeditated, calculated act designed to terrorize a family she wanted gone from her neighborhood. She played the school security footage. The courtroom watched Diane lie, watched her manipulate Emma, watched her take our daughter. Then she played Mark's recordings. The jury's faces turned to stone as they heard Diane's racist comments, her plans, her complete lack of empathy for a child she was about to traumatize. The defendant didn't see Emma Rodriguez as a little girl, Walsh continued. She saw her as a tool. A way to inflict maximum pain on a family she hated. And why did she hate them? Because of their last name. Because of their culture. Because they didn't fit her narrow vision of what her neighborhood should look like. Diane's lawyer tried to argue temporary insanity, HOA stress, even that Diane had been trying to protect Emma from negligent parents. But Emma's testimony destroyed every argument. My little girl sat in the witness chair, so small she needed a booster seat. The judge had allowed her to hold her favorite stuffed bear. Emma, Walsh asked gently, do you remember the day Mrs. Patterson picked you up from school? Emma nodded, clutching her bear. Can you tell us what happened? In a quiet, brave voice, Emma described everything. The lies. The locked doors. The phone calls where Diane said terrible things about us. The fear. She said my mommy and daddy were bad people, Emma said, tears rolling down her cheeks. She said we should go back to Mexico. But we're from California. I was born in California. How did that make you feel? Scared. and sad. I didn't understand why she was so mean. I just wanted to go home to my mommy and daddy. There wasn't a dry eye in the courtroom. Diane's lawyer tried to cross-examine, but Emma was unshakable. Isn't it possible you misunderstood? No. She said mean things about my family. She said we didn't belong. She scared me. Emma looked right at Diane. Why did you take me? I never did anything bad to you. Diane looked away, unable to face the child she'd terrorized. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. When they returned, the foreman stood with a grim expression. On the count of kidnapping in the first degree, we find the defendant guilty. Diane's face crumpled. On the count of child endangerment, we find the defendant guilty. Her lawyer gripped her arm. On the count of making terroristic threats, we find the defendant guilty. On the count of hate crime enhancement, we find the defendant guilty. The courtroom erupted in applause. The families Diane had terrorized were there, 15 of them, all clapping and crying with relief. The judge, a stern man named Judge Morrison, silenced the room. Diane Patterson, you have been found guilty of some of the most serious crimes a person can commit. You kidnapped a child. You terrorized a family. You used your position of authority to abuse and control others. And you did it all out of hatred and prejudice. He leaned forward. I've been a judge for 30 years. I've seen many criminals. But I've rarely seen someone as calculating and cold as you. You planned this kidnapping for weeks. You manipulated a child. You showed no remorse even after being caught. Diane tried to speak, but her lawyer stopped her. Sentencing will be in 2 weeks. Until then, you remain in custody. And Mrs. Patterson, I want you to think long and hard about what you've done. Think about that little girl's face. Think about the fear you caused. Think about whether any amount of neighborhood control was worth destroying lives. As Diane was led away, she finally looked at us. At Emma. For just a moment, I saw something in her eyes. Regret? Shame? Or just anger at being caught? I didn't care anymore. She couldn't hurt us now. 2 weeks later, we returned for sentencing. Emma didn't come this time. She was at her grandmother's house, playing and laughing, slowly returning to the happy child she'd been before. Judge Morrison looked at Diane with cold contempt. Mrs. Patterson, do you have anything to say before I pass sentence? Diane stood. Her lawyer had clearly prepared a statement, but she crumpled the paper in her hand. Your Honor, She paused. I don't know what happened to me. I used to be a good person. I used to care about people. But somewhere along the way I became obsessed with control. With rules. With keeping everything perfect. Her voice shook. When the Rodriguez family moved in, they represented everything I was afraid of. Change. Difference. Loss of control. So I tried to drive them out. I told myself I was protecting the neighborhood. But the truth is I was just afraid. Afraid that if things changed I'd lose my identity. My purpose. She looked at us. What I did to Emma was unforgivable. I took a little girl from her parents. I terrified her. I used her as a weapon. And for what? To protect property values? To maintain my power? Diane's tears were genuine now. I destroyed my marriage. I destroyed my reputation. I destroyed families. And worst of all, I traumatized an innocent child. There's no apology big enough. No punishment harsh enough. I deserve everything that's coming. Judge Morrison was unmoved. Mrs. Patterson, I appreciate your statement. But words are easy. Actions matter. And your actions were monstrous. He opened his folder. Diane Patterson, I sentence you to 25 years in state prison. No possibility of parole for 15 years. You will be registered as a child predator. You are prohibited from ever living in an HOA community. You will pay $500,000 in restitution to the Rodriguez family. And you will complete 2,000 hours of community service upon release, working with immigrant families. 25 years. Diane would be 78 when she got out. Her lawyer started to object, but Diane stopped him. It's what I deserve, she said quietly. As she was led away, Mark approached us one final time. The divorce is final, he said. I've also liquidated assets to ensure the restitution is paid immediately. And I wanted you to know, I'm selling the house and leaving the neighborhood. Too many bad memories. What will you do? Sophia asked. Work for that immigrant advocacy nonprofit. Try to undo some of the damage people like Diane have done. It won't make up for anything. But it's a start. He shook my hand. Take care of that little girl. She's braver than any adult I know. Emma is 8 now. She still has occasional nightmares, but they're rare. She's thriving in school, has wonderful friends, and loves to draw pictures of our family. The pictures always include flowers and rainbows now. Hope and beauty. The old Riverside Heights HOA was dissolved. The neighborhood is different now, warmer, more diverse, more accepting. Families of all backgrounds live there. Children of all colors play in the streets. Emma's chalk drawings cover multiple driveways and neighbors smile when they see them. We stayed in our house. We refused to let Diane's hatred drive us away. This is our home, our community, our place. Last week, Emma asked about Diane for the first time in months. Daddy, is that mean lady still in prison? Yes, baby. She's going to be there for a long time. Good. Emma thought for a moment. I hope she learns to be nice. Because being mean made her lose everything. My 8-year-old daughter understood something Diane never did. Hate destroys the hater more than the hated. We received a letter last month. From Diane. Postmarked from the state prison. Dear Rodriguez family, I don't expect you to read this. I don't deserve your attention. But my therapist says I need to write it, so here it is. I think about Emma every day. About her face in that courtroom. About the fear I caused. About the innocence I tried to destroy. Prison has given me time to face who I became. I was a monster dressed in expensive clothes and fake politeness. I wielded rules like weapons. I turned a neighborhood into my kingdom and anyone different into enemies. I can't take back what I did. I can't give Emma those hours of terror back. I can't undo the trauma. But I can change who I am. I work in the prison library now, helping other inmates learn English. Many are immigrants like you. I hear their stories, their struggles, their dreams, their hope for better lives. I see their humanity. The humanity I refuse to see in you. I'll be in here for at least 15 more years. When I get out, I'll be old. My life as I knew it is over. Good. That life was built on hatred and control. I hope Emma is happy. I hope she's forgotten me. I hope your family is thriving in that beautiful house that I tried so hard to take from you. You won. Not because the justice system punished me, but because you refused to let my hatred make you leave. You refused to let my cruelty break your family. You stood strong and you won. I lost everything and you lost nothing that matters. That's justice, Diane. I showed the letter to Sophia. We read it together. Do you think she's really changed? Sophia asked. I don't know. Maybe. But it doesn't matter to us anymore. She's part of our past, not our future. We burned the letter in our fireplace. Watched the paper turn to ash. Released the last hold Diane Patterson had on our family. That evening we sat in our backyard. The yard Diane once said was too ethnic, with its flowers and vegetables. Emma played with her friends, their laughter filling the air. Sophia leaned against me. We made it through. We did. Because we had each other. Because we refused to let hate win. Emma ran up to us, dirt on her knees, joy on her face. Daddy, look. I grew tomatoes. She held up 3 perfect red tomatoes, so proud. Those are beautiful, baby. The best tomatoes I've ever seen. Can we make salsa like Abuela taught me? Absolutely. We'll make salsa together. Emma hugged us both and ran back to her friends. This was worth fighting for. Not the house or the neighborhood or proving a point. This family, love, joy, belonging. Diane had tried to take it all away. But love is stronger than hate. Always. And we were still here. Still growing. Still blooming. Still home. Sometimes justice comes from courtrooms. Sometimes from good people standing together. But always, justice comes from refusing to let hatred win. From choosing love over fear. From standing strong when someone tries to make you small. The Rodriguez family didn't just survive, they thrived. And that's the best revenge of all.